Hey guys, so yeah, I haven't long got up. It's a bit dark in here. Put my lamp on. Is that better? Let's change this something on that. Very blue. That one's blinking. Go with the blue. So yeah, I've just not long woke up. I'm sat here trying to do updates on my computer because I was gonna watch some Netflix or something, but like I usually do in the morning whilst I'm waking up. But my computer was like, no, we're not doing that today. We're doing updates. So I've got to update my computer so I can watch stuff. Technology, great fun. Yeah, so I just thought I'd do this video and update on what's happening with all this stuff about my neighbour and about the move and stuff like that. So yeah, it kind of escalated with our neighbour. I don't know if I did a video talked about this in a previous video. I don't think I did, but yeah, it escalated to the point where he actually came to our front door and got very abusive, very aggressive, very violent towards us. You know, and it was confusing. Some of the things he was saying, they didn't make sense. Because all day me and John had been just sat indoors, watching a bit of TV, doing a bit of housework, and then that evening, like every evening, we sit down and we play a few video games with friends online and stuff. So we were getting ready to do that, and we hear a bang on the door, like someone knocking the door, but it was more like they were trying to punch the door down, to be honest. And I immediately got a bad feeling hearing that, so I picked up my phone ready to call the police. And John went to see who was at the door. He looked out the peephole, saw a guy who looked a bit rough, and then John thought, I'll answer the door to see who it is, because it could be an emergency, or you know, it could be something important. So, but John kept the chain across the door so the door wouldn't fully open. So he opened the door as far as the chain would allow him, and straight away the guy at the door got abusive with John. He started shouting, what the F do you think you're playing at? And John said, excuse me, I don't understand what you mean. And the guy's going, what the F do you think you're playing at? My mate told me you were staring at him through a door. And John was like, excuse me, what? When did this happen? He's going, my mate was telling me you were staring at him through the door. I've got witnesses now. How would you like that? And stuff like that. Obviously a lot more swear words and a lot more hateful language, which I don't want to repeat, to be honest. And John was sort of like, I don't know what you mean. And the guy got closer to the door, to John, trying to get up in John's face. And John was sort of like, look mate, I don't know what you mean. And the guy's ranting and raving about a friend said we were staring at him through a door. And then John said he looked like he was about to punch John. So John told him to F off and close the door. And as John closed the door, the guy was trying to kick it open and punch it open. So John locked it, and I was on the phone to the police straight away. As soon as the guy started getting aggressive, I dialed 999, and then when the operator come on the line and asked what service I needed, I said loudly so the guy at the door would hear me, "Oh, police, please." The guy heard me, and then he kind of went back into his own flat. We heard him slam the door, and then from his flat he was shouting and screaming abuse at us, calling us names, shouting, "It's no good you calling the police won't help weirdos like you," and saying something about he's got witnesses now to what weird stuff we've been doing to him. And it just, like, it baffled me. I was thinking, like, okay, me and John hadn't been out all day. We hadn't been out most of that week, to be honest. The only time we went to our front door is to accept deliveries or to let our friend Carl in when he come over to visit. So, like, whether he's confusing a delivery, us collecting a delivery from our door, as us staring at him or his friend through a door, I don't know. Like, or whether it's just he's got some kind of friend who's not being honest, who is lying to him, saying, yeah, you know, trying to rally him up. You know, I don't know. It's just really confusing. It doesn't make sense. Like, whose door were we meant to be staring through? His door? Our door? The fire door in the corridor? The lift door? What? He just kept ranting and raving about us staring at his friend through a door. Like, what? I don't know. Like, and yeah, so I called the police, like I said. They said, first they said they were going to send someone out. Then they said that they rang up a while later and said that they'd get someone to call me to take some sort of victim statement or something. And then a while later they rang up again and said that they would send someone out. Then they rang up again, and each time they rang me several times the day after just to ask what happened. And I was like, I've already given my statement, I've already told you what's happened several times now, and you keep giving me conflicting information on what you're doing about it, you know. So at that point I was really confused as to what was going on, but one of them did pass it on to victim support, so that was good. And victim support, we got in contact with them, and they've sent out these personal alarm thingies for me and John, because we're like really scared when we go out in the corridor, because we have to when we go out into our corridor to get to the lift, we have to go into his section of the corridor, if that makes sense, because it's like a communal corridor that is split by fire doors. We're in one section that is split off. He is in another section. The section he's in, he also has the lifts in that section. So me being a wheelchair user, I have to use the lift to enter and exit the building. To access my flat, I need to use that lift, which means I have to enter his section of the corridor, which really worries me because I'm scared he's going to come out of his flat and get violent with me. So giving me this alarm so I can deafen him and blind him. It has a really bright torch on it, so I can deafen him and blind him at the same time. So yeah, they were really helpful, victim support. They gave us links and stuff. They said they would write a letter as well to the council for the management move. They said they're not sure it's going to help so much, that a police report would be better. So I've asked the police officer who was dealing with the case if she could put in a recommendation for a management move, and she said she's going to. I've spoken to my council officer about that. She's putting it forward for me. I'm picking up a letter from my GP tomorrow, a medical letter, in favour of a management move. So I'm giving that to the council as well. So yeah. And my council officer came out to see us. But first thing, I must say, the case has been dropped again. The police case. It keeps getting dropped. Which is annoying. Because basically he knows the law. The neighbour knows the law, so he knows how far he can push stuff without getting arrested, without getting in serious trouble for it. So he'll push it that far and then he'll stop. And because he's stopped and he goes quiet and he behaves himself for a week or so, or for 2 weeks, then the police go, right, there's been no further incidences, so this case is closed, and they close the case. And then of course he then revs up again, starts on us again, and then we call the police and they have to open it as a separate case. So it's really annoying. It's like, well, why can't you just reopen the old case and add this to it? But it's stupid. So the case has been closed again. The officer that was dealing with it, she's dealt with the other cases previously, and she seemed genuinely annoyed that she couldn't get him, because she said this time she had checked to see if there were cameras in the corridor, to see if they caught him on camera, because if they had caught him on camera, they could do something, they could arrest him, there would be proof there. But because there's no proof and none of the neighbours will come forward to say that they heard or saw something, you know, because I guess they're scared, they don't want to get involved because they don't want they don't want him to go after them, which I fully understand, but you know, but yeah, she seemed generally annoyed that there were no cameras, and she said it's a bit silly that the council have put cameras in the lifts and in at the bottom of the stairwell, but not in the corridors. I was like, yeah, I know, it's council though, they won't pay out for that. Oh, my computer wants to restart. There we go. So, and she said to me and John, look, if it happens again, if he comes to your door again, don't answer the door, just go up to the peephole with your phone camera and video him at your door, and make sure you capture the audio and everything as well, because then we can prove it is him at your door and we can do something about it. So yeah, So me and John are just going to sit and wait now for him to mess up, and we'll catch him on camera, or try to. But yeah, the council officer came out last week again to talk to us after this incident. She signed the housing forms with me so she helped me fill those out, and I signed them, so did John, so we could get a move. She's going to pass on the info for the management move. She also told us to get on a site called Home Swapper, so we joined up on that as a backup, just in case the management move doesn't work. She said you can still do the swap. So yeah, like, either way, me and John are like, whether we get this management move or not, we're still going to be moving out of here because we cannot cope with it. Because it just seems to be getting worse and worse. But we spoke to her. We showed her all the video evidence, and I believe it was her manager she had with her. And we're speaking to him as well. We showed them all the video evidence we caught, and they were trying to. There was all this stuff about my washing machine. Now, what it is my neighbour, one of my upstairs neighbours, I think it's above next door, they have a very, very noisy tumble dryer. Like, super noisy. When they put it on, the walls vibrate and the floor vibrates, the ceiling vibrates, and like, it is a really loud, rumbly sort of noise. John could hear it whilst he had his noise cancelling headphones on, and he was playing a video game, and he could hear the rumbling of this tumble dryer even with those headphones on. So that's how loud it is. And they put it on late at night, like gone 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I can understand the annoyance. I can understand the fact that our next door neighbour is annoyed by that noise. I understand that. I'm slightly annoyed by it. But it's his reaction to it, the way he behaves when it happens. But he seems to think it is us with the noisy tumble dryer. And that's why he's been shouting abuse at us. And, well, one of the reasons. But that's what he's told the police anyway, and the council. He said that it's us with the noisy tumble dryer, and that's why he's getting annoyed with us. And I was sort of like, well, hang on a minute, because last month he started shouting out of the window, shouting the door number of the upstairs neighbours who have the noisy tumble dryer, and shouting out, oh, noisy, see you next Tuesdays, shouting other stuff, and shouting their door number out. So I said and we caught that on video, we showed that to the council officers, and they said, yeah, so he does know who it is. I was like, exactly. Why would he shout at them? Because we caught the noise of the tumble dryer and then the noise of him shouting out of his window and shouting their door number. So we were sort of like, so why is he now blaming us for it if he knows it is them upstairs? And the council officers seemed really confused by it, and I was like, exactly, I'm confused too. And I said to her, this is why he thinks, and I goes, this is where the washing machine thing comes in. I goes, because in one of the videos I sent to the police of him getting abusive, my washing machine was on in the background of the video. So this is where the police and the council officers started thinking it was my washing machine, not upstairs tumble dryer. Now, I said to the council officer, I said, yes, washing machines are noisy. I goes, mine is noisy because of the plumbing. And I showed her, I turned on my cold tap and the plumbing started hissing. And she said, wow, that's a really loud hiss, isn't it? I was like, yeah, exactly. I goes, it's because it's old plumbing. Old plumbing makes noises. And I said to her, next door, his taps make that same noise. Then John played her a video of next door getting abusive again, and next door was turning his tap on and off, right, as if to be spiteful, because he knows it makes that noise. And his tap was also making the plumbing hiss. And I said, so there you go. His plumbing hisses as well. So does everyone else in this tower block. You know, and I goes, the only time my tumble dryer makes that horrible hissing noise is when it's filling up, because it is connected to the old plumbing and whatnot. And she said, right, so it's a plumbing issue. You can't help that. That is not your fault. But we will get someone out to look at the plumbing. So the council are now going to be checking out the plumbing. So yeah, I've saved my washing machine, because they were talking about replacing my washing machine. And I sort of said to her, if we replace my washing machine, it's still going to have the same problem, because it's the plumbing that's hissing, not my washing machine. The noise is the plumbing. So she said, right, yeah, so, and her manager as well was saying, yeah, we can see from this evidence you're showing us that it's not you making the noise. We showed them countless videos of upstairs and their noisy tumble dryer, and they said, wow, that is really loud. And videos of him shouting and screaming. And we told them, and they said, right, well, it does seem he's triggered by noise. And I said, yeah, it seems that way. I goes, but sometimes he'll go off on one for seemingly no reason. Like, for instance, I said to them, I'd literally just woke up, got out of bed, went into the bathroom, hadn't made any noise, hadn't even flushed the toilet yet, made no noise whatsoever, no noise that he could hear. And as soon as I went in the bathroom and sat my butt on the toilet, as soon as my butt touched that toilet seat, there was a couple of massive bangs on the wall right next to me. It was so loud, it sounded like a grenade had gone off next to me. Then I heard him shouting abuse through that wall, calling me names and stuff like that. Like really personal names, like that would describe my disabilities. I'm not going to repeat them. And I said, seemingly there was no reason for that. I hadn't made any noise. I'd literally just woke up and went to use the toilet. And she said, that's odd. Why would he do that? I said, I think, to be honest, he has a problem with me and John for some reason. So he is trying to torment us and harass us, maybe to get us to move out. I don't know. He's just, he's using any excuse he can, and it seems like he's been trying to provoke me and John into shouting back at him and getting aggressive and violent back towards him. But me and John never do. We never retaliate in any way whatsoever. It's best not to when you're faced with someone like this, because that is what they want. And the moment you retaliate is the moment you get in trouble. So me and John don't retaliate. We just report it. We follow the rules. We report it to the council and to the police. And I think that's what's annoying him, because we're not retaliating. We're not, you know, because it does seem now that he's trying to do stuff to provoke us into retaliating. And it's getting more and more personal, the things he's shouting. So, yeah, so for some reason it seems like he doesn't like me and John. Personally, I think, I've got no proof of this, but personally I think he has an issue with disabled people. With some of the things he shouted towards me, that's what makes me think he's got an issue with disabled people. Shouting things about my disability, shouting things about me getting disability money from the government and stuff like that, you know. So I think it is a hate crime, to be honest. It's a hate crime. He hates me because I'm disabled, and he's not scared to show it. So yeah, but the police are not treating it like a hate crime. They're just treating it, well, I'm a bit confused as to how they're treating it, because one says they're going to treat it as harassment, another says they're going to treat it as antisocial behaviour, another one said that it was just noise complaints. And I'm like, okay, a guy shouting abuse and threats at me is a noise complaint, is it? Okay. I thought making threats was illegal. Threatening to kill someone is illegal, making threats, you know, but no, apparently it's just a noise complaint. I know I sound annoyed at the police. I am slightly, but not at the officers themselves. The officers themselves are trying, but I think they're a bit confused on how to deal with this. It's the system I'm annoyed at, because the system has changed so much. One, because of Brexit, and two, because of all the COVID stuff. Rules and regulations around the police and everything have changed. Because when you think about Brexit, a lot of our laws that we had pre-Brexit were laws that came from the EU. They were EU laws that we were following. Now we're not part of the EU, we're not subject to those laws. So that has made our laws in this country change. So they're still trying to work out, the government and everyone are still trying to work out the laws and the law system. And that's obviously created a lot of confusion for police officers and stuff. So I fully understand that they're struggling because of that and everything. So it's the system I'm annoyed with, not the police officers themselves, because they are trying to do their job under really difficult circumstances at the moment. So yeah, I'm not annoyed with the police officers, just the system. But yeah, so the police officer dealing with the case did ring him the other day after she rung me to warn him and say to him, look, if your behaviour keeps up, we will be taking further action. You know, I think the council officer's been in touch with him since she spoke to me and sort of like said to him, no, it's not them doing it. We have proof of it, and if you carry on, you will take further action. So he's been quiet ever since. So this week he's been really quiet, and even yesterday next door had not next door, upstairs had their tumble dryer on yesterday afternoon, really loud, but it was in the afternoon, not late at night like they usually do, so me and John weren't too bothered. Um, you know, because in a tower block you're gonna get noise, you're gonna hear your neighbours. You know, it's hundreds of people all living on top of each other. You can't get away from the noise. You know, and especially if you're in an old building. You know, old buildings make noises. They creak, they crack, they have noisy, hissy plumbing. You know, it's gonna happen. They have creaky floorboards, creaky doors, everything like that. You know, you're gonna get those noises. There's no avoiding that. But his reaction to the noise, that is the problem. You know. So I think, to be honest, they need to move him out of this tower block. Because clearly he's got some serious mental health issues, and clearly he needs help with that, and his mental health issues are starting to spilling out and affecting other people, you know, because screaming, shouting abuse and threats to kill someone over a bit of hissy plumbing, come on mate, chill out. You know, there's that, yeah, not right. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So hopefully me and John can get a move. If all goes to plan, we'll get the management move. They said depending on what evidence I have for the management move, because the council officer, she doesn't realise how clued up I am and how smart I am with the housing system, and I think she wasn't expecting me to know what a management move is. I don't think. And she kept trying to sort of not exactly poo-poo it, but sort of like make it sound really difficult to do and whatnot. And I was sort of like, because she was going, oh well, I don't know if you'll be able to get a management move. There's all these criteria you've got to meet. And I said, yeah, I know. I've looked up online what the criteria is, and I meet it. And she's like, oh, do you? I was like, yep, I've got a letter from my GP. I'm collecting that Monday. We've had the police involved. The police officer has recommended to me to get a management move. And you need to speak to that police officer. And she said she was going to. And I said, also, me and John are going to see mental health now. It's affecting our mental health. We'll be getting letters from our mental health professionals as well. We've had victim support involved, and they're writing a letter of recommendation for a move. Also, my health is greatly affected by this flat because of the black mould as well. So I meet all the criteria, love. So don't start trying to make it sound worse than it is. Make it sound difficult when it's not. But yeah, so she was sort of, she's a nice lady. She tries to do her job well, because they've been hit hard with all the changes in laws and rules around housing and stuff, because now they can't just evict someone. The rules around that have changed. There has to be extreme circumstances for them to evict a person. And apparently coming to someone's door, getting violent, aggressive and threatening is not grounds for eviction, apparently. So he has to actually do something like really drastic, like break into my house and actually stab me or something, for them to go, oh yeah, let's evict this guy, you know. So before that kind of thing can happen, I'm moving out of here. And I feel sorry for the next person who moves into this flat, because, yeah, they're gonna have to deal with that next door. And then maybe the council will take the next person seriously, you know. But yeah, she's trying to do her job under difficult circumstances again. I mean, I don't hate her. I hate the system. She's trying to do her best, and obviously she can't take sides. You know, she's not there to take sides. She's there to try and sort out the issue. Any housing issue, she's there to sort out. She is the housing officer. So she's like the landlord of the tower block almost, kind of thing. So she's there to sort out any problems. She doesn't take sides, which is fair enough. They're not meant to. I wouldn't expect her to take my side. But yeah, now she sees the full picture and the full gravity of the situation, and I think her manager that was with her, he seemed more accepting and more like he was listening. And because he was there and he was listening, she was forced to listen, if that makes sense. You know, so like, I don't know. But yeah, so I think I shocked her in the fact that and I explained the management move to her and all the criteria, and was like, and she seemed very like shocked, like, they know their stuff. I'm Suki. If I want to know something, I will find out. I research. You know, I don't go into things blindly. You know, I'd heard about management move before through, I believe it was my sister. Years ago, she had an issue. I believe it was my sister, and she was looking at a management move. So I'd heard about it through that, and I thought, I'll look that up, see if that's a possibility. And yeah, it is. So we just gotta wait to hear back from the council now, because apparently I have to be approved for a management move by someone higher up in the council. So hopefully we will get a management move. It's gonna be scary moving. At the moment though, both me and John it doesn't feel like home here anymore. Both of us feel that way, because we don't feel safe. I mean, we've been tiptoeing around our flat on eggshells, trying not to make any noise, because we're scared that any noise we make, he's going to kick off at and get violent with us again. John's scared to even go out of the flat. You know, he's scared to even take the bins down to the bin area, because he's scared the guy's going to come out of his flat and attack him. You know, and it's affected John's mental health a lot. John's been speaking to a therapist recently. He's got back in contact with them, with it's a thing called Steps to Wellbeing. They work with the NHS. It's like an NHS run thing. They do a range of different therapies and stuff like that for mental health. So he's been in contact with them again to speak with them. And I don't want to say much about John's situation, because that's his issue, that's private to him. If he wants to speak about that publicly later, he can do. But yeah, there's like things that have been brought up with this, which now John's mental health is being taken more seriously now. Because it's the fact where he's been pushed to that point where they can actually see it now. Because the thing is, with people on the spectrum, on the autistic spectrum, we're wired differently. We don't react the same way normal people do to pressure. We don't, we have, because we can seem really calm under pressure. Really, we're not. Our brain's going completely crazy, but on the outside, we're masking and we look completely calm. So when trying to convey our mental health issues and our upset, it doesn't always come across that it's that serious, because we're not completely freaking out, So, like, we process things differently and we show them differently. So our mental health isn't always taken seriously. And I think that's the problem with John, with his ADHD, and the fact that they think now that he is on the autistic spectrum. They think that there are serious mental health issues there that haven't been picked up on because he doesn't process in the same way and he doesn't show in the same way. So yeah, there's some serious mental health issues there, which I'm glad in one way that it's come to light now and they're actually seeing it now. But yeah, so he'll probably talk more about that himself. Because I don't want to, it's a private thing, innit? I don't want to sort of out him on that. But maybe I can ask him if he wants to talk a little bit about it. I don't know. He's asleep at the moment. I'm letting him sleep today because he hasn't been sleeping much at all. He's been spending nights up because he's too worried to sleep. Any noise that happens in outside of the flat or in the flat, he jumps at and whatnot. Even like the cat going in the litter tray and starting to dig around in our litter tray, he kind of jumped at that and was like, what was that? I was like, it's the cat taking a dump. He was like, oh, I thought it was someone trying to get in the front door. I was like, no, it's a cat taking a dump. So yeah, like, he's a bit shell shocked, bless him. I don't blame him for that though. I am a little bit, but the difference between me and him is I grew up in chaos. I grew up around abuse and neglect and chaos and noise, and I grew up around that, so I'm a little bit desensitized to some of it, I guess you could say. Yes, it still worries me, some of it, because like obviously it brings up memories when stuff like this happens, so like I do worry about it, but I'm able to manage that worry and I'm able to calm down after that worry, if that makes sense, after that. John, however, he's not able to calm down, he's not able to decompress. He's like, yeah, it takes him a long time, and he struggles to cope with high stress situations, and struggles to cope with the threat of violence and stuff like that. He struggles with that kind of thing, which is fair enough. I think anyone would, really, any normal person would. Me, I'm used to it, so I'm just sort of like, eh. And now, like, I know how to keep myself safe. Sometimes I don't feel safe living here now, but I know as long as I've got my phone and I can call the police and report anything, then I'm good. And plus now I have my secret weapon where I can deafen and blind someone if they mess with me. Like, to be honest, I'm skeptical about this thing. It's a personal alarm. I'm skeptical about this thing. Like, I've not tried it yet. I don't want to try it. If you pull this, it's like a pin on a hand grenade. You pull that out, they've got different attachments for it as well. Like, so you can have it with a little strap or with the key ring. So you pull that out and it starts making a god awful noise apparently, and then you can press the button to turn the light on, which apparently is a really bright light that you can shine in their eyes. I've not took the little plastic bit out because I'm clumsy, super clumsy, so I don't want to accidentally set this thing off and wake up all the neighbours. But I am skeptical about this thing, about whether it will actually work, whether it will deter someone from attacking. Like, yeah, it might get people's attention, bystanders or whatever, it might, witnesses and all, it might get their attention. But as for stopping an assailant from attacking me, I don't know. I'm skeptical about that. I don't think. It might shock them for a few seconds, but then they're probably just going to grab it out of my hands and throw it and then carry on attacking me, you know. But yeah, like, I'm skeptical about that. But we'll see. I'd much rather use my karate skills. No, I'm not. I'm not good at karate. I learned karate from Power Rangers when I was a kid. But yeah, so things are moving in the right direction. Finally. But yeah, so hopefully tomorrow I can go collect this letter from my GP. Also, I've got some new meds from my heart specialist sorted out. So don't ask me to pronounce their names. This one, the brand name I think is Inspira, but they're actually called Epler. Yeah, I can't pronounce it, but I've got those ones, and the ones I hate so much, Ramapril. I hate these ones. They taste awful and they make me pee like crazy. Like every 5 minutes I'm gonna be in the toilet peeing. They are horrid. Like, I hate Ramapril. I used to be on Ramapril during and after my heart surgery. And yeah, it was horrible. needing a pee every 5 minutes when you have very low mobility because you can't move properly because you've just been through surgery and you need help to get out of your seat. So like every 5 minutes I'm shouting at John, I need a pee. And he's having to come pick me up and get me to the toilet. Yeah, it's a horrible, horrible medication. But yeah, so that's all good. I'm getting a nurse apparently coming out to check my bloods and check my blood pressure and heart rate and stuff like that while I'm on these pills, just to check that they're doing the correct job. Some of my dosages might need increasing as we go along. Some more meds might need to be added later. So yeah, so yeah, today's the first day of taking these new pills. I've got to take them in a minute. See how that goes. But yeah. So that's what's been happening really. I haven't been doing much else because obviously mental health has been really low because of everything that's going on, which means motivation's been really low. So yeah, haven't been doing much. I've been wanting to do more, been wanting to do some more arts and crafts and stuff like that. I've got a couple of projects waiting to go, but it's just having the motivation to get them started. Also, I've been wanting to get out and about, but struggling to because it's really annoying because I don't want to stay here. I think if I leave the flat during the day and I'm out all day, that's less time I've got to sit here and deal with the abuse. But John is too scared to leave the flat because he's like, if I go outside the front door, what if he's there? What if he attacks me? And because the guy was mentioning friends the other day when he was at our door, John's worried that he's got friends involved as well and that his friends might come and attack John. And John said, I don't know what his friends look like, so... And I was like, he probably hasn't got friends. This friend he was talking about, I think, was his invisible friend. I know that makes me sound like I'm being nasty towards people with mental health issues. I'm truly not. I'm just stating that I don't think there's an actual friend. I think he was having some sort of mental health delusion and the friend is not real. Maybe. I think maybe he was hallucinating this friend and hearing voices. So, yeah. So he definitely needs help, next door does, but he's not getting it. Which annoys me. The system won't help you until you've actually murdered someone or until you've actually caused someone great harm. They won't help you. It's really annoying. Until he's done someone else great harm or himself great harm, they will not help him. Why not intervene before that point? Why not try and stop him from hurting himself or someone else by intervening early? So yeah, but John's scared to leave the flat. I'm scared to stay in the flat. So it's like, it's a tricky situation because where sometimes I need Johnny to get out and about, because he's my carer, and sometimes I need his help getting out and about. So, like, yeah, the other day I managed to get out and about on my own. I went into town and did a bit of clothes shopping. I managed to do it that day, because usually I struggle with buses sometimes, because I get extremely anxious getting on and off buses because of past experiences. My wheelchair tipping backwards on the bus ramp because the bus drivers will not lower the bus enough. And then when you say to them, no, I can't use that ramp, it's too steep, you need to lower it, that is unsafe, they get narky with me. And then I feel forced to actually use the ramp. Because I don't like to get in confrontations. So, like, to avoid confrontation, I'll just do what's asked of me anyway, whether I feel it's safe for me or not, which is a really stupid thing to do, really, but that's how mental health works. So, yeah. So some days when my mental health is bad and my anxiety is bad, I need I need my support human, my emotional support Neanderthal, as I like to call him. So yeah, he'll help me get on and off the bus, because people listen to him. You know, with me where I'm disabled and whatnot, people will argue with me, they won't listen to me, they'll be like, no, you're disabled and stupid, I'm able-bodied and smartest person in the world, you know, so what I say goes, kind of thing. Whereas with John, where he's loud and he's big and he's, I wouldn't say scary looking, because I wouldn't describe John as scary, but where he's there, he's, you know, and they try and argue with John takes none of it. John's like, no, this is what needs to happen, you're going to make it happen. And they won't argue with John, they're like, yeah, okay. They'll get a bit huffy, but they won't argue with John, they're fine. And they'll do it. With me, if I ask, oh, can I have that ramp lowered, please? John, can we have the ramp lowered, please, mate? Oh, yeah, sure. You know? So, like, if you're disabled, people tend to ignore you and your needs. It's annoying. Your voice gets trampled on and you get shut down a lot. It happens a lot, and I find it really hard to make my voice heard and to voice my needs, because I'm constantly being shut down and constantly ignored. And if it's not me being shut down and constantly ignored, it's someone trying to write the narrative for me, trying to take over and tell me what I need. Like, I already have my own narrative, I don't need yours, I don't need you to write one for me, I already have one. And if you shut up for a second and listen to me, maybe you'll find out what it is. Good night. But, yeah. But I'm too nice and too polite to tell someone to shut up when they're annoying me, most of the time. I tell John to shut up all the time when he's annoying me. But anyone else I struggle with to tell him to shut up. because I feel like I'm being impolite, but then another part of me says, but they're being impolite to you, so you have a right to be impolite back. You know? It all depends on where my mental health is. If I'm having a good mental health day, I might just tell them to shut up. But if I'm not, I won't. But yeah, anyway, I think I've gabbed on a lot. Oh look, my pill alarm is going off. There we go. I've gabbed on quite a lot. This video is like over an hour long. Oh damn. Oh well. Nice long video for you all to watch. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will try to keep you all updated on what's going on. And I'll try to make some other videos other than vlogs about the crappiness that's going on at the moment. So I feel like that's all I'm doing on my channel at the moment, making random vlogs about crappiness that's happening in my life. So yeah, we'll try and do some other videos. Hopefully I'm going to be getting out and about a bit more now the weather's a bit better. So yeah, and hopefully I am planning to go out for a barbecue at one point. So I don't know, make some nice barbecue food. Maybe we could do a video on that. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I shall see you all later. Bye bye.